Dance space FM. Dance space FM.
Cheer up. There'll be another ferry in 20 minutes.
Tell us about your trip to New York City and the whole Mad Magazine thing.
You patronizing me? And scene.
And scene. Okay, seriously, tell us. Put your phone down and tell us. It's a great story. Seriousness.
Mad Magazine. Everyone knows Mad Magazine. If you're a comic guy, it matters. My first time to New York in 2010, I kind of talked my way into the Mad Magazine offices and had a job interview because I'm a cartoonist, and a bunch of fun things happened. I had a tour, but they told me my cartoons were too vulgar for Mad Magazine and basically to get out. The next issue that came out, they'd stolen one of my cartoons and used it.
Are you serious?
Didn't credit me. They just got their in-house guys to redo it. I can explain the cartoon. It was a good one. It was rock, paper, and scissors with famous people. Nixon doing scissors, the Black Power salute from the 1968 Olympics, and then Hitler doing the Heil 5. And they stole it, and they took out the Black Power salute and put in Justin Bieber doing it. So I feel really good because my idol, Harvey Kurtzman, the guy who created Mad Magazine, was ripped off by them as well. So I'm kind of in good company now. Anyways, thanks for asking. God, I'm stir crazy already.
Do you think that thing's full of milk?
Would you want to drink milk out of a filthy, filthy metal container like that?
Look at that hippie.
It's like a toll booth that makes you wait for 2 hours.
What's he doing?
He's doing hippie things. There's another one over there.
Wow.
There's people checking their tires. That seems so mature.
You know what I've always wanted to do? Maybe you know a guy. Remember that TV show Cribs?
Yeah.
Yeah. They go and people brag about their houses and show their
Yeah,
houses.
you probably know some cool houses.
Well, no, I want to do it with make it like Space Cribs, and we find people who like Star Trek stuff, and then we go to their house and they show us all their Star Trek stuff.
I have to introduce you to a guy in Victoria. He's got the greatest Star Trek crib. Why don't we go there?
Hi.
Hi, are you John?
Yes, I am.
I heard you have a nice Star Trek collection.
Ooh, I do.
Can we see it?
Yes, you can.
Whoa! Whoa!
Star Trek starts right there. Goes all the way to about here. So, now one thing that you notice with that cereal box, for some bizarre reason, they omitted Spock.
Oh! But did you eat them? Is it fun?
Oh, yeah? Yeah, I ate the legs. Yeah.
Oh, there's
Yeah, there's the various enterprises up there.
Look at all this stuff too. Star Trek, all the books. Cool. And then look at up here, all the figures. Wow.
This is a pretty good read multiple times.
Is that a Magic Teeth collection?
This is all Magic Teeth mixed in with my local right
That's
up
all
top.
your stuff?
That's like all of my comics there, my graphic novels. Look at them all.
Yeah.
Flattered.
This is the one with my wife and I's wedding, I think, right in there somewhere. I'm not putting it back. I'm keeping it right up front for a second.
Cool. So it's the press kit.
Yeah, so
They sent it. Oh wow.
So opens up all nice and all full colors.
From Paramount Pictures.
Yeah, so you have all these various press materials.
Done on a nice old typewriter.
Oh yeah. 10 sample Frankie rules. Actually, they're like a mini book.
Okay, now I can't help but notice while you're showing this, can we see your rings here? What's going on there? Zoom in on that.
Yeah, it's my bling. Here's my nod to Trek.
Yeah.
If you can see that properly.
One of the most impressive collections I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
25 years ago, I committed myself to I'm going to be a cartoonist, and I didn't realize that I had any talent except for perseverance. I knew I could just stick to this, and I committed to drawing a page a day of an ongoing graphic novel, and I lasted 10 years to the day of doing this thing. So I feel like, I kind of cut my teeth drawing full time, and now I can take a break.
But you animated the Shane Koyczan videos.
Yeah, that was
right?
cool. The last couple of Shane Koyczan videos, the one for Troll.
Yeah.
And then the one that you were on that tour with David Suzuki.
Yep.
I animated a David Suzuki Shane Koyczan thing. That was fun. And then
Those are beautiful.
Thanks.
Great. I love
Do you
those.
see the new?
That's how I found out about you.
Really?
Yeah, that's when I looked up who you were. I wrote your name down at the end of that video.
This is Silence is a Song I know all the words to. And I got to draw the whole graphic novel. I love that one. Look at that ketchup. Nobody's ever on ketchup like that. Yeah, Shane. Shane's awesome.
There he is.
Hey, Shane!
It's crazy, man.
It is pretty crazy.
Under that
Spock
mag-
would never waste a shot like that, just firing into the air for no reason. Kirk, my old friend, you're still alive. Still old friend.
And now, have you ever traveled in such a fine machine as the space van?
Are you kidding me? Has anyone? I imagine very few have experienced the miracle of interstellar travel.
I heard you're a Star Trek fan. Is that true?
I am. Star Trek to me was the ultimate. It was the first show that I'd ever seen that, you had characters that were, you had a Russian guy, a Japanese guy, an African American, and everybody was getting along, and they were all working together.
In 1967.
Yeah, in 1967. It's like in Yellowknife growing up, we only had one station. It was CBC. Whenever I could see it, I took it in, and it was amazing to watch because the world I was living in, people were still fighting over petty differences, right? So then along comes Star Trek, and it's like everybody's working together to solve problems. That's kind of how it should be, shouldn't it?
Right.
Yeah. So, and they dealt with so many social issues. Like in the original series, the issue where they dealt with racism was the one with the two guys split in half, black on one side and white on the other.
Yep.
And then the reason they didn't like each other is because one's black on the left side and the other's white on the left side. And it just showed how ridiculous is this that we're arguing over this.
Yeah, and the first interracial kiss ever on television. So what else is happening? We are in, where are we? Tell us where we are.
We're in Penticton, British Columbia. This is my home. This is where I live when I'm not on the road, which is a lot these days, but this is where I come to rest my weary head and my weary bones and get ready for the next tour.
Cool.
What's going on with you? You're on tour right now. You're going cross Canada, or
Well, I bought this crazy van we're in, and I decided I'd make a show, and I want to, thank you for being on it.
Oh,
First,
sure.
Could you do something for us on the show tonight?
Of course, yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go.
I just did the hang. I don't know if that's the hang loose or the devil horns.
Well, you
What
should
is
have
it?
done this.
Oh, fuck, that's right.
People always ask me, how do you memorize all that? And the truth is, the first girl I ever kissed tasted like tomatoes. I know this because the second girl I ever kissed tasted like pepper. It wasn't unpleasant, it's just that I was expecting tomatoes. When I was a kid, I learned that time slows near a black hole. Inside a black hole, time stops altogether. Whether or not this theory will ever be proved, I move to believe this would be the perfect place to love someone. In grade 4, my gym teacher gave me the nickname Half Ton. It was a name that stuck. I remember it because it was the first time I ever told someone, go fuck yourself, and meant it. He quit calling me the name after he called my house trying to get me in trouble for what I'd said, to which my grandmother replied, Mr. Shithead, I told him to say it. I remember my grandfather's blue toolkit, where he hid a secret stash of raisins. I recall thinking my granddad has the worst tasting candy, but he did teach me how to tie a tie. My first opportunity to apply this knowledge was my first date, a 7th grade classmate who showed up wearing acid-washed jeans and a Def Leppard t-shirt. I wore a suit and tie. When she asked why I was all dressed up, I had to think quickly and told her I thought it'd be funny. I don't want to say it ended badly, but she wound up leaving me for a boy who could make farting noises with his armpit. I'm forced to admit, it was pretty cool. In 4th grade, my teacher had a rule about speaking out of turn. Failure to learn and practice this lesson would result in having to sit outside. I know this because I tried it once. When she finally came out to check on me, she asked what was so important that it couldn't wait. Knowing that it's rude to point but needing to illustrate my position, I gestured to her chest and said, "Your boob is hanging out." She quickly covered up and corrected me. Breast. She was a good teacher. When I was 12, I was given an academic diagnostics test. The instructor later informed me I had an aptitude for history. He looked puzzled when I replied, "Yeah, but that was yesterday. Today I'm more interested in tomorrow." I remember because the next day I asked a girl if I could borrow a pen. When I offered it back, she said, "You should write me a letter with it first." So I did. I wrote her a note, which the teacher then intercepted and read to the class. It was something we'd learned in science that day. About the way gravity affects mass and weight in relation to how quickly something will fall. Example: crumple a piece of paper into a ball, it will fall more quickly than a loose sheet. They're both composed of the same mass and weight, so you think the rate of velocity measured with force of gravity will cause each to fall at the same speed. But that's when you need to consider the greater surface area the loose sheet adds resistance, so the crumpled ball will fall quickly and the loose sheet will slowly float. I wrote her a note, saying that when two people fall in love, they do so at the same speed. There's no need to factor in the physics. Explanations are something we can make no use of. Einstein once wrote, "Gravity will not be held responsible for people falling in love." I wrote her a note saying, if I fall in love with you, no one will ever be able to explain it. And I think that's beautiful. Despite the class laughing, she did as well. Which is how I can tell you that I then knew and now still know. She tasted like tomatoes. I don't remember the way every song goes. I can't recall every person I've met. I get names mixed up all the time. I'm terrible with birthdays. But I remember all the ways people have affected me. How our stories became memories, and if you were brazen enough to make one with me, then you're in there somewhere. Maybe it was a truth or dare kiss, a simple act of kindness, one that reminded me to remember the moment and mark it as a memory so I could have it to look back on from this life. I've drawn conclusions so big they can't fit into the tiny comic book boxes because I don't want to risk losing the details just so I can make the story fit. It's not a trick. I remember how things felt, which in turn makes me remember how things happened. Like my first attempt at skateboarding when I received a down-to-the-bone skin knee. I remember a tree that looked like a man with huge arms trying to hold up the sky. I used to try to climb to the top until one day I did and couldn't get down. I remember the man with the brown car who tried to convince me he was sent to pick me up by my mom. Number one, I was raised by my grandparents. Number two, you didn't know the safety word. I recall when it finally occurred to me. I'm pretty fantastic. It's not magic. I remember because I make comparisons, and not in terms of better or worse, just different. And not all of these memories are great, but they're mine, which lends weight to the belief that none of our lives are put together on an assembly line. We're not prepackaged with emotions or programmed with stories. We have to make our own. And they all come batteries not included. Amid the endless opportunities we have daily, seldom do we take the time necessary to pause, to stop, to record, rewind, and press play in our own way. We're all ghetto blasters at top volume. We consume silence with noise, speakers pounding out our heartbeats as we refund receipts for the broken eardrums of people who could hear us live. We give of ourselves time. Precious because its quality is limited only by your ability to live within it. Put yourself in every second of every minute and you will have a life worth remembering. Just because we don't have forever doesn't mean we have to move towards the end as if on a conveyor belt. I felt nothing short of astonished when people asked me, how do you memorize all that? Truth is, it's not a trick. There's no thick curtain you need to pull away, no little old man making it all work from behind a locked door. You yourself probably remember before when I told you that near a black hole, time slows. Inside a black hole is where I wanted to grow tomatoes.
I've missed this ferry so many times. Sorry.
You told me you'd never missed it.
Trying to be positive.